Welcome to BitBoy Crypto. My name is Ben. Today I'm going to be talking about what we could potentially see that's good and bad in crypto when it comes to regulation over the next year or so. Some concessions that we may have to make. Now, there's a big announcement coming. We talked about it this morning on the live stream. Tomorrow, we don't know exactly what it's going to be, but I think it's a great opportunity to address one of the potential things this could be about. So my Uncle Brian, he posted on Twitter, he tweeted on twitter.com that he is hearing that the SEC wants to go after staking, call every single altcoin an unregistered security, and destroy crypto staking in America. Now, it's very interesting. I don't know if that's going to be the announcement or not. I doubt that would be the announcement because it feels like, I don't know, it feels like this would be very quick to just make this decision and move forward with. However, it does come on the heels of FTX and Celsius and Gemini's Earn program, all of these staking platforms that had issues, or, BlockFi was also a lending platform that FTX and Alameda were associated with. So a lot of stuff in this space. We had Nexo move out of the country, followed Voyager obviously having issues as well. So the point is this. Is this something we're going to see? Are we going to see the end of staking, at least centralized staking in America, and a ban on DeFi staking in America that really can't be enforced other than to just say if you get caught, you face consequences? Now, of course, that may be jail for you or me for a bank if they did it. Man, I tell you what, they get $1 million fine, which is 0.000000001% of the money they make. So here's the thing about staking. If you watched my channel last year, all during 2022, if you watched it the year before, all during 2021, second half of 21 on, until about the middle of last year, we talked a lot about what was coming with staking. Basically, the long and the short of it is they want to come after stablecoins and stablecoin regulation. I don't think this is going to end up resulting in an actual law that bans crypto staking. Here's why. The reason the SEC and the government don't want crypto overlapping with traditional finance, especially in this area, is because stablecoins and staking equals, as long as they're solvent, guaranteed returns, okay? The only guaranteed return that exists pretty much in the world is a government bond from the good old US of A. As long as the country still exists and as long as we are still taxing our citizens, you will get that promised return on your bond. And if neither of those two things are true, then I tell you, we probably got bigger problems on our hands than getting your returns back from your bond. So, what if stable coins equal $1 at all times are offering higher returns and higher yields than those government bonds? Well, a stablecoin isn't going to fluctuate. It's not going to be volatile. So that means that essentially we're looking at guaranteed returns higher than government bonds. Now, of course, if you got to put it on a third-party exchange like Celsius, we see what happens. You can lose all your money. There's no point in earning an appreciating asset that you don't actually have, not your keys, not your crypto. We'll put a link down below to Ledger if you want to check out a Ledger hardware wallet, and maybe a BC wallet. Maybe we'll put that link down below in the description as well. We did a video on Ledger wallet. If you want to check that out, we will put a card up at the top of the screen here. Sorry, driving around in the demon like a bat out of hell, because man, when it comes to crypto, we're like a bat out of hell. We're mad about this staking stuff. We're gonna get into what exactly is going to occur here in just a moment. So when you have these potentially guaranteed returns competing with guaranteed returns of the government bonds, that's when the issues arise. That's what they do not want. So what are they going to do? They're going to push out this narrative. They want to ban all staking, right? It's a hot topic. The exchanges made everybody look bad, including the politicians, including Gary Gensler. Well, let's just rip the Band-Aid off. Let's get rid of staking. That's not the end goal, though. So let's talk a little bit about what Sam Bankman-Fried wanted for regulation. He wanted everything to favor centralized exchanges, and he wanted to create a federal bit license like the one in New York. We've talked about it a lot of times. When he was sitting on our bill in August, that's when he started really getting behind the scenes in the Senate specifically and trying to make moves. Now, here's the thing. When he put out his political manifesto, the Boozman bill, that's not going to pass now, most likely, almost dead on arrival, the Boozman bill would not have looked the same by the time it was done as when it started, just like my bill won't. These things change over time. And what happens is there are concessions that are made. The issue with Sam and his political manifesto, other than he was just an evil supervillain and a polycule, is that he wanted not only to favor centralization, but what he was really going for here was kind of to create a world where only he could win, right? Only Sam could win. And that was something that, wasn't going to ever be able to be something that people were going to accept, but he thought that they would. So he put out on Twitter his whole political manifesto, what he was looking for. And the goal of that was to get feedback really from Twitter. He didn't think he'd get the backlash he did, but to get that feedback and go in and probably tweak things and change things. But at the end of the day, he had some very specific things that he wanted, and he was willing to give up everything that he didn't want. Unfortunately, for Sam, the thing he didn't want was decentralization. The thing he didn't want was peer-to-peer transactions. The thing he didn't want was DeFi. He tried to say he did, but clearly the language of his manifesto and the bill he was working on did not reflect that. That's what the community was so outraged about well before we knew about the insolvency, or completely knew about the insolvency. So that is what he was going after there. He was willing to give up everything that crypto stands for in order to get his idea of what crypto regulation through that would help him out from a centralized standpoint. We should have a battle for concessions, okay? There should be a battle that occurs. We should not just give everything up, like hand it over, here, take this. So what we're seeing right now is a negotiating tactic, basically, from the SEC. If this turns out to be true, which I told you last year and in 2021, we believe they would come after stablecoin staking. So what they're doing here is they're saying, all right, we're going to throw this out there. All staking is banned. They know that's not going to stick over the long term. What they're wanting to do is say, hey, we will concede crypto staking on volatile assets that are not guaranteed returns. You might get a guaranteed percentage, but that doesn't mean that you're getting a guaranteed amount of income or amount of return, because the price of the asset can be appreciating or depreciating at any given moment. So this is going to end up being a whittling down, if you will, of across the board regulation on altcoins to say, okay, well, we just don't want stablecoin staking. That's not what we want. There's all kinds of problems with USDT. Might mess up things with USDC moving forward as a digital dollar in the future. So that might be what they're going to ask for. So this is a moment where we as the crypto community say, hey, okay, what are we willing to give up? In my opinion, I'm willing to give up stablecoin staking if that means that DeFi staking and even centralized staking, I wouldn't use it, but some people would choose to do that still with everything that happened. Not your keys, not your crypto. I think as long as we are able to keep volatile assets, basically every coin in crypto that's not a stable coin, keep that for staking and make it legal, maybe a case-by-case basis even, we would take that over stablecoin staking. Am I right? Because at the end of the day, one Bitcoin equals one Bitcoin. We believe in this space that Bitcoin and Ethereum and Cardano and XRP, over time, they're going to grow in value. So the volatility in the shorter term, it doesn't matter that much. That's actually what packs the punch and will allow it in the future to be able to go way to the upside. So it's a game of give and take. And whether this is the announcement tomorrow or not, maybe by the time you're watching this video, in fact, this has already been decided. Maybe they've already leaked what the announcement is tomorrow. Maybe it's not relevant anymore. But the fact is, I do believe there's a reason Brian Armstrong said that, because there are conversations going on about this, and they've actually been going on since 2021. So I want to know, when it comes to the world of crypto and regulation, what are you willing to give up? And what are you willing to say, this is a non-negotiable for me? We cannot give this up in any way. Because the fact is, guys, in the world of regulation, we are going to have to make concessions. I want to know what you're willing to do when it comes to that. That'll help me fight on your behalf, because we are the People's Channel. All right, that's all I got. Be blessed. Good boy out.